Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this class, we are going to discuss about regulations and supervision bodies in Islamic finance. So basically, first of all, we are going to discuss the international standard setting organizations. So internationally accepted standards and best practices from major reference points for any regulatory and supervisory framework established by regulatory and supervisory authorities. So by design, the international standard setting bodies do not possess any formal supranational supervisory authority. And any conclusion made by these international standard setting bodies do not and were never intended to have a legal force on any countries. Yeah? However, it formulates a broad supervisory standards and guidelines and recommends statements of best practices in the expectation that each and every individual authorities will take necessary steps to implement them through detailed arrangements. Yeah? So, in summary, we can say that the international standard setting bodies, they just function as a formulation to provide best guidelines and recommend best practices for each and every countries or the regulatory in each countries to follow, so that uh, each regulatories will have a quite similar kind of regulation. So in doing this function, so the international standard setting bodies encourage convergence towards common approaches, and common standards without attempting detailed harmonization of member countries' supervisory techniques. Yeah. So by issuing standards, common standards, so directly each and every countries will have a common approaches and a common standards on certain things. An extensive due process is adopted by international standard setting bodies in order to develop reasonably sound documents to be adopted by individual regulatory and supervisory authorities, and also to seek broad industry endorsement for their initiatives. So this includes establishing a well-presented working groups. Yeah? So normally each central banks will be the representative of each central banks will be made made available as a working group committee, and also they will conduct a public consultation before any documents is finalized as the international standards. Yeah. So this is important so that what they decided on the standards have been considering all concerns from the relevant central banks or any regulatory and supervision bodies in each country, and also cater the public concerns on each and every standards that they would like to issue. So if you can see here, we have at least 4 international standard setting organizations. So the first 3, the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision, BCBS, the International Organization of Securities Commissions, and the International Association of Insurance Supervisions. These 3 are actually um, similar for the conventional and the Islamic banks. However, for Islamic banks, they have very specific entities or international standard setting organizations, which is the the Islamic Financial Services Board. So we will see each and every international organizations and discuss their basic backgrounds and also some of the objective of the establishment of this organization. So first, we go to the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision. Yeah? So the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision it was established by the central bank governors of G10 countries in the year 1974. However, later on, the membership have been increasing or expanded to G20 companies and G20 countries. Yeah. So it is a forum for regular cooperation of banking on banking supervisory matters, and the objective is basically to enhance understanding of key supervisory issues and also to improve the quality of banking supervision worldwide. Yeah. And furthermore, it seeks to do so by exchanging information on national supervisory issues and approaches and techniques with a view to promoting common understanding. Yeah. So basically, because the membership is coming, uh, the working group for the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision is coming from each and every central bank for each countries. So through this working group, so they exchange information, yeah, on any supervisory issues and also approaches and techniques which can be shared together so that they promote a common understanding among themselves. Yeah. So the BCBS is best known for its international standards on capital adequacy and also on the core principles for effective banking supervision and the Concordat on cross-border banking supervision. Yeah. So these are among the best known international standards which have been issued by the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision. Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, following the 2009 global financial crisis, so the membership of the Basel Committee has been expanded to the G20 countries. Okay, next we are going to see what is actually the International Organization of Securities Commission, or IOSCO. Yeah? So the International Organization of Securities Commission, basically it is recognized as the world's most international cooperative forum for the securities regulatory agencies. Yeah. For in the case of Malaysia, so we have the Securities Commission. Yeah. So each and every country have their own securities regulatory agency. So this is the cooperative forum for them to discuss issues related to issuance of or the standardization of regulation related to securities. So the organization's wide membership regulates more than 90% of the world's securities markets. And as the leading international policy forum for securities regulators, this organization plays a key role in setting international standards for securities regulation, and also they play important roles in identifying issues affecting global markets. And besides that, they make recommendations in meeting the challenges based on the issues which have been identified. Yeah. So in 2002, the IOSCO established an Islamic Capital Market Task Force, which was chaired by the then chairman of the Securities Commission of Malaysia. So this task force published the Islamic Capital Market Fact-Finding Report in 2004, which examine the extent of development and regulatory issues relating to the global Islamic capital market. Yeah? So this is an important um, important event which have happened and developed within the IOSCO, where they have considered the Islamic capital market instead of the global capital market itself. And in 2008, the IOSCO working group, led by the Financial Services Authority of the UK, published for a follow-up report entitled the IOSCO Islamic Finance Report, analysis of the application of IOSCO's objectives and principles of securities regulations for Islamic securities products. Yeah, so this is a very important event which happened within the global securities market. Yeah, and then third, we have the International Association of Insurance Supervisions, IAIS. So this was established, the institution or the organization was established in the year 1994, whereby the IAIS represents insurance regulators and also supervisors of some 190 jurisdictions in nearly 140 countries. So collectively, in terms of global market share of its members, so this constitutes 97% of the world insurance premiums. Yeah, so so we can see from here that the association is actually catering the majority part of the market share of world's insurance premium, which we can say it is quite very good. Yeah? And the objective of IAIS are basically to cooperate towards improved supervision of insurance industry on a domestic as well as the at the international level in order to maintain efficient, fair, safe and stable insurance market for the benefit and protection of the policyholders. Besides that, the objective of the IAIS is to promote the development of well-regulated insurance market. So this is very important so that um, it is related to the third objective of the IAIS, IAIS, which is to contribute towards the global financial stability. So the insurance industry is very important because it is a risk management tools for banking and financial industry. So without a good or a proper insurance industry, it could not help the stability, promoting stability, financial stability in general. Yeah? So that's why it is important to have the insurance supervision which are efficient, fair, safe, and also stable. So the IAIS have issued global insurance principles, standards, and guidance papers. Yeah? So besides that, it provides training and also support on issues related to insurance supervision and organizes meetings and seminars for insurance supervisors. So the last international standard bodies is the Islamic Financial Services Board. Yeah. So as I have mentioned earlier, so the IFSB is specifically established to cater the special needs or special characteristics of Islamic finance, which their products and services based on the Sharia rules and principles. So the IFSB was established in the year 2002, and it is mainly interested in ensuring the soundness and stability of the Islamic financial services industry. So this include the banks, capital markets, and also the insurance, Islamic insurance. And IFSB promotes the development of a prudent and transparent Islamic financial services industry by introducing new or they adopt existing international standards. For example, international standards which comes from the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. So they adopt these international standards and ensure that it is consistent with the Sharia principles, and where it needs further improvement or recommendation, it will provide their suggestion in order to how to adopt these international standards within the framework of Islamic rules and principles. So as of April 2010, the IFSB has approximately 191 members, including 50 regulatory authorities, 6 multilateral intergovernmental organizations, including the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, the World Bank, the Bank for International Settlements, and the International Development Bank, and also the Asian Development Bank. Yeah. So since the IFSB largely complements the work of the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision and also the International Organization of Securities Commission, it is important to understand its position within the Islamic finance architecture. So firstly, the standard setting work of the IFSB takes into account the need to cater for the specificities of the Islamic financial services. Yeah, as we know, the Islamic financial services industry have to comply to the rules and regulations set up by the Sharia. Yeah? So that's why it is important for IFSB to cater for these specificities. Yeah? And also by complementing existing internationally accepted standards and best practices. And secondly, the IFSB ensure compliance with a common set of internationally recognized prudential standards would help harmonize the regulatory and supervisory framework for the Islamic financial services industry. So this may vary greatly across jurisdictions according to national circumstances and practices due to differing interpretations and the way policies are structured. So of course, in each and every countries, so they have a very different interpretation and how the policies were structured to cater and that suits the environment within a country. So that's why it is important for IFSB to harmonize the regulatory and supervisory framework across different jurisdiction. And thirdly, IFSB ensure that the global acceptance and compliance with uniform prudential standards and best practices so that it can help a level playing field for Islamic financial institutions among themselves in many regulatory and supervisory aspects before eventually ensuring parity vis-a-vis with the conventional counterparts. Yeah? So in doing their functions, the IFSB has issued a set of prudential and governance framework for the Islamic financial services industry in the form of standards, guiding principles, technical notes, which covers the areas involving banking, Islamic insurance, and also the capital markets for Islamic financial services industry. Besides, the IFSB standards also contribute to the harmonization in the development of Islamic finance across different jurisdictions. Yeah? So if you can browse through the Islamic Financial Services Board website, you can find out the several, at least I think like more than 20 or nearly 20 guidelines, disclosure, guiding principles, guidance note which has been issued by the Islamic Financial Services Board. For example, in the year 2005, the IFSB has issued its guiding principles of risk management for institutions offering only Islamic financial services. Yeah? And then also IFSB issued the capital adequacy standard for institutions offering only Islamic financial services. Yeah, so if we can see that the title of the guiding principles, so basically it is coming from the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision's standards, and then the IFSB try to harmonize it and try to ensure that these international standards are actually accepted and can be uh, can suit the specificities or the special characteristics of the Islamic finance. Yeah, so that's why we can see some of the, the the title of the guiding principles actually carry forward the standards from the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. For example, on risk management, on capital adequacy standards, corporate governance. Yeah, so there are several guiding principles which have been issued by the Islamic Financial Services Board. So that is the 4 international standard setting bodies um, which are available in a global setting. So that is the end of this first session. So we'll continue the second session, and in the second session we are going to discuss about other infrastructure institutions which are relevant to the development of Islamic finance industry. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.